Hello and welcome to Morris Park. Today on Morris Park, I'm going to show you some of the succulents and cactus that we can keep outside during the winter and take a lot of the cold freezing temperatures that we get here during the winter. Now in this little planting, we did this this summer, planted this up. We had quite a few opuntias here, two different varieties, but many plants that we had growing under some of our cedar trees. And the cedar trees kind of took over the areas, as you can see there, and there's just way too much shade underneath them anymore, so they just wouldn't do very well. I'd almost lost one of them except for a tiny cutting, and it wasn't one of the platyopunches, it was one of the cylindropunches. I still have a little cutting of it, but cedar trees kind of wore it out. But thankfully, a secretary at work, Debbie, gave me one of the same plants, and it's a Cylindropuntia imbricata. Now you can see this guy here, he's kind of sad looking right now, but what has happened, this wilting is preparation for winter. And all the real green branches on this plant have lost their water. They forced all the water out, have prepared for winter, so during the freezing temperatures, these branches won't just burst and rot because this plant is prepared. And these plants are quite used to this. This is one of the choyas that can actually be grown in sub-zero temperatures. I've had these plants go through 3-4 degrees below zero and do just fine. Now, down here in our platyopunches, so to speak, this is Opuntia compressa, also known Opuntia humifusa. In fact, it's known more as humifusa these days. I think they kind of changed over that nomenclature on it. But anyways, you can see on these that they're quite shriveled. Look like they're almost rotted down, but they're not. They're just kind of shriveled up for the winter, just like the one I just showed you. These plants are used to this kind of weather, and they prepare whether there's a lot of water or not. Hi, kitty. Whether there's a lot of water or not, they will refrain from taking up any water. The roots just kind of shut off like a tap, and they can take all this wet soil. And right now, as you can see, the soil is quite wet here. Now in this bed, I put a mixture of our clay soil that is normal here in the Ozarks, mixed with a lot of dolomite sand and limestone gravel. And now that may seem like a pretty lean, harsh mix for a lot of cacti, and it is. But these particular cactus do best in this kind of soil. I've tried them in cactus mixes and stuff I've made that are all very nice for my ones in the greenhouse, but they do not do well for these ones outside. They like the more clay, rocky kind of soil. So that's what I've provided for them. They've done very well this summer. They've really grown out quite a bit. Now also in here, I have another opuntia. I do not know the exact species on this. I was told by the person I got this from that it originally came out of Texas. Now it looks quite a lot by the pads and the spines like an Engelmannii. That grows down there quite common, but I don't think this is an Engelmannii because it can take the freezing temperatures and it doesn't seem to hurt it. And from what I've read about Engelmannii, it doesn't take quite that cold a temperature. And it may be fairly cold hardy, but not like these are standing in sub-zero temperatures. And also, something that's a defining thing about this particular plant is the fruit. And the fruit on this plant is much more narrow than on a Engelmannii. They have a real narrow fruit to them. And whereas an Engelmannii, the fruit's going to be, quite a bit bigger. It's going to be like that. So these particular plants, I'm not sure exactly what they are. But all these plants, you can see they kind of turn purple from the cold, have already stood down to 18 degrees just this season. And they will stand a whole lot more. Anyhow, I'll show you a couple more succulents that we have here in the park that do very well outside. Now this one is Yucca filifera, and I think it's named that for the little filaments that are all over the leaves here. Now this is also a native plant here in the Ozarks, and it grows everywhere. You can see it all on the roadsides and such, everywhere. And if you look, you'll see this soil that we've got this plant in is nothing but like hardtack rocks. And these things grow great. And they even seed. You can see a few of the seedlings here that are coming up right there. But these are just kind of a staple plant here in the Ozarks. Everybody has them. You see them around all the old cemeteries and everything. And usually put on quite a show in the summertime. As you can see, one of these flower stalks here. And they get white flowers. And then they get these seed pods. And you can see down there, it has some of the seeds still in there. And these grow very easily. This is a very easy plant to grow. And works quite well for the outdoor landscaping if you like desert-type plantings and so forth. Now, these here are something that most everybody knows about, and these are sedums. And these are the hardy-type sedums. I forget the exact species name on this. It kind of slips me at the moment. You can even see there's still some flower buds right there. Look at that. We've had 18-degree weather. But anyway, you see them under names like... cultivar names like Autumn Joy, Mr. Goodbud, and there's several others. This particular one here, I believe, is an Autumn Joy. But you can see these little buds here, even in the wintertime. It's got these little buds just waiting for that first little bit of warm weather to start flowering. Now, as you can see, all the other flower stalks have pretty well died off. But, as you see right here, there's that little shoot, and if you dig under here, see, you can see more of them up under the leaves. And we'll just kind of leave those leaves there to use as mulch and to keep them warm through the winter, and they'll get by a little better. But these are another one of the succulents that we can grow outside here in the park. Now, lastly here, we have your sempervivums, and we have a few different kinds here, a few different cultivars. As you can see, and these do very well out here. And of course, as most of you know, these are alpine plants. And they come from the Alps in Europe and so forth, growing in rocks just like this. And these do very well here. This is another one here that we've got going. And you can see there's a little bit of clover that's come up there. I'll have to feed that to my tortoise and get that out of there. But look at the purple color that these things turn in the wintertime. Real nice little succulents to be able to have outside here in the Ozarks when you can't leave much else outside. There's a little different type one here. It's got kind of curly leaves on it. I forget what the variety name on that is. When I bought it, it didn't even have a tag to them. But I've got these kind of on the edge, and they got kind of curled up looking leaves there. Pretty cool. And you can grow these things. These are old bird baths if you notice. You can see they're kind of cracked, so they drain real well. We didn't really have anything else to do with these things. They won't hold water or anything else, so we decided to plant them up like this, and they've done really well. And of course, another way to do them is in rocks. We find lots of rocks around here that have holes in them and so forth, and you got to tuck these into the rocks. And they do very well. Not much soil at all or anything, and they just carry right on. I've had this rock here planted a couple years now, and it's been pretty good. Anyway, I just wanted to show you some of the succulents we're able to grow out here in the park in Morris Park. I hope you enjoyed seeing all these, and maybe give you some ideas if you live in a climate like I do where it gets cold, some of the things you can grow outside. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed seeing these succulents. This is Clyde Morris from Morris Park. Y'all have a good weekend. Take care.